6 p.m. in Douala. It's time for the news. Thank you so much, viewers, for always being with us. I'm Major Staris right away. Tonight, one person dies. Several others severely injured after a story building serving as a hostel collapses in Moliko, Boya. Earlier today, precisely at a locality there called Dirty South, those injured are receiving medical attention in hospitals in Boya. And the government of Cameroon, through the Minister for Water and Energy, begins paying keen attention on the inconveniences of frequent power shortage to the local population. The minister calls on NEO and his partners to redress whatever the problem is as fast as possible. Viewers, those are our major stories. Details when we come back. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for the confidence. In Boya, one person dies and several others injured following a building which collapsed in Moliko. The collapse of a building in Dirty South neighborhood in Boya, chieftain of the southwest region, has left one person dead and 3 others severely injured. Locals blame the collapse on the use of poor quality construction material. Let's now have details with Immaculate Fogwe.
A sad day for residents of Dirty South Boya southwest region who are woken by a loud noise emanating from a collapsed building.
So we heard the noise. As neighbors, we say we should come out, try to see what is going on. Quite unfortunately, the house failed on the mother with 3 kids. Struggling now about the mother, so the building was too heavy on the mother, and there was all these cables like you see. Those cables was on top of the woman too. So we struggle our best, and then we take about close to about 1 hour, I think 1 hour 20 minutes on the woman. Fortunately, we want to remove the woman out of the situation. She has already lost her life.
In the course of the search, 3 children got rescued by the population and were rushed to the hospital.
So, as early enough, we struggle to rescue those 3 children as early as possible. And then
locals blame the collapse on the poor quality of building materials used and also the fact that it was poorly constructed.
Because the attachment at both sides, up and down, as a nearest neighbor, the same attachment is on my side. So, and it's on top of the toilet. So we don't know whether you will see 4 December.
Residents of Dirty South say they are worried about such scenes repeating itself. Municipal and law enforcement officers arrived at the scene to evaluate the damage and launch investigations.
Our condolences to the bereaved family. And waves of reactions continue to stream after the deadly attack on February 11 in Kamben and Ndonga Mantung division of the Northwest region. Besides the condolences of President Paul Biya, some 4 diplomatic representations in Yaoundé have joined in making their opinions known vis-à-vis the attack. From the US, the UK, the EU to Spain, the opinions are the same. For me, I'm trying to compile those various reactions for the news.
To the President of the Republic of Cameroon, Paul Biya, the bomb explosion in Kambe was an act of cowardly criminals. He says a heinous act was committed by cowardly criminals in Kambe, northwest region of Cameroon, where young Cameroonians were celebrating a day dedicated to them. Before conveying his condolences to the family of 15-year-old Cherish Lebni of Government High School Nyanji, killed in the explosion, President Paul Biya says he strongly condemns the terrorist attack. The United Kingdom in Cameroon says it is appalled by the attack in Kambe on February 11, 2024. Civilians should never be targeted, and our thoughts with the victims and their families, the United Kingdom wrote. To the United States Embassy in Yaoundé, Cameroon, there is absolutely no justification for an attack against civilians or children in particular. We extend our condolences to the families of those killed and wish everyone who was injured a speedy recovery, the U.S. wrote. Like the United States of America, the Spanish Kingdom, through its embassy in Yaoundé, qualifies the attack as unqualifiable, unjustifiable, and inhumane. Besides the United States of America, the United Kingdom and the Spanish Kingdom, the European Union says it strongly condemns this unspeakable attack on civilians and children and expresses its solidarity with the families of victims.
And a civil society member, Tevan, says if the government does not provide adequate solutions to the economic hardship youth face in Cameroon as a result of chronic unemployment, traveling overseas or immigration will persist in Cameroon, while reacting to President Paul Biya's message to the youth to invest in entrepreneurship. Tevan notes that it is impossible without any funding, no subsidies, high taxes, and no protection of startups. Let's now have more with Innocent Aze.
An aspect President Paul Biya dwelt on while addressing the youths was the growing desire of many youths to travel out of the country for greener pastures, whereas Cameroon is a land of opportunities, attracting many foreign investors, a worrying phenomenon to the head of state.
I want to say that the youth of Cameroon find themselves migrating so alarmingly, probably because of high cost of living, insecurity, gross unemployment will produce not less than 20,000 fresh graduates every year. Where do all these graduates go to? Can the government absorb all of these youth graduating? It is impossible. They need jobs.
Aware of all these, President Paul Biya stressed the solution is usually not to walk away.
If the state wants the youth to sit here and develop the nation and make Cameroon a place to be, then the state should be ready to do the needful. We need a healthy environment. Let there be security for all. Let there be peace. Insecurity is one of the factors that is causing the youth to migrate.
Encouraging the millions of graduates is here to delve into entrepreneurship because the states cannot employ all of them is one of the major solutions the head of state thinks can stop migration of these youths and to become successful.
It is good. It is worthy of applause. But is it actually that easy to just dive into entrepreneurship with an empty hand? Because even the startups that we have around, all of them, or almost all of them, complain of high taxes that they pay day in, day out. Some of them cry that they receive very little or no subsidies from the state. Some of them need promotion, they need protection from the state, and they don't have all of this. How then do you expect that little business to survive?
Recognizing the efforts made by the states to help the youths, the member of the civil society pleads more be done, like creation of more industries to employ youths, provision of subsidies, tax reduction, and the protection of start-up businesses.
It has a lot to do.
And still talking about Youth Day celebrations, government authorities emphasize that the security situation in the Anglophone regions is under control, yet attacks on institutions, civilians, and administrative authorities multiplied. Passing day activities remain grounded in the crisis-hit regions with timid participation in National Day celebrations. Our reporter Innocent Aze now takes us to Jakiri, Mundemba, Akwaya, and also Mendi, all localities in the southwest region.
Normalcy is yet to return in the Bialem division of the southwest region. Many are still scared to go about their activities normally and take part in national celebrations like the National Youth Day. In Menji, for instance, a handful of people wearing CPDM t-shirts conversed on this bushy and deserted ceremonial ground to march. Sign insecurity prevails. Over in Akwaya subdivision in the Manu division of the southwest region, the turnout was better, with few schools represented.
This, of course, emits a positive signal that the Akwaya people are eager to see the return of peace in full package, so that they too can join the rest of Cameroonians to lead sustainable lives and contribute in nation building.
Some pupils and students march in assorted attires in the watchful eyes of administrative and security officials.
I'm encouraging them to keep on, to continue to pursue peace, because peace is the only instrument needed to fast-track development here in Akwaya subdivision.
We are begging on the boys, since who are disturbing the bush, our brother in the bushes, who are making life difficult for our youth, to allow them a chance to continue enjoying themselves, continue celebrating their days.
Mundemba in the Nzan division,
also known to be one of the localities hardest hit by the Anglophone crisis, is yet to recover fully from the security threat despite improved participation this year in the National Youth Day celebration. Activities at the grandstand took almost normal shape, with several schools in the division represented. The senior divisional officer encouraged pupils and students who braved the odds to participate. With this financial gesture, these youth and their peers back home are systematically expected to answer present to national events.
Come the 23rd of March 2024 at the Monument.
And over to the Young and Lekele division of the Central Region, the march past there started hours late because of the bad state of the roads. So it was challenging. Some students and also pupils braved out to march at the ceremonial ground. Cedric Chakuto now takes us to Makak.
Lack of potable water, electricity, and the bad state of roads are some of the many challenges that inhabitants of Makak, Young Lekele division of the Central Region are facing. Due to these challenges, pupils and students could not arrive on time for the 58th edition of the National Youth Day, resulting to the late start of the march past in their locality. The new divisional officer urged the inhabitants of Makak shun the consumption of hard drugs, promote peace and living together, thereby fighting hate speech. I call on the youth of Makak to fight against hate speech and promote peace and living together. The youth have to help in the fighting against the consumption of hard drugs.
Cette jeunesse doit contribuer à la lutte contre la consommation des stupéfiants et la consommation de la drogue afin que
they also should help in the development of our community.
Et que demain après demain qu'on ait des élites, une jeunesse très forte, une jeunesse digne de son nom.
For this occasion, some youths expressed themselves on the challenges they face in their day-to-day activities. We have problems of electricity and the lack of potable water. It's been some months now we don't have electricity and potable water. Due to this, we can't learn or go to school.
Les jeunes de Makak se livrent trop à la drogue et la consommation de stupéfiants. Du coup, on voit les accidents qui se répètent tous les jours. C'est là et les cas vraiment inquiétants.
This 58th edition of the National Youth Day in the country was marked with several activities whereby every youth could demonstrate their capacity.
And now we turn to something else. We come to the frequent blackouts across the national territory. The Minister for Water and Energy Resources, Gaston Elundu Esomba, reminds the Director General of the Electricity Distribution Company that repeated power failure across the national territory can provoke social tensions, and his responsibility will be involved. In an urgent letter, the Minister reiterated instructions to remedy the situation as fast as possible. More details with Babila Jonathan.
Inadequate electric energy supply triggers a wave of social unrest looming over Cameroon. Energy and Water Resources Minister Elundu Esomba Gaston highlights the risk of an outburst of anger of the population with the unceasing power failure across the country. He tells the Director General of the Electricity Distribution Company, Nous, that he could be held responsible if there is an electric energy supply linked social unrest. To prevent this, the minister reiterates some instructions given earlier to solve the problem of poor electric energy supply. The Director General of Nous has been instructed to put the full capacity of the South Interconnected Grid to use while waiting for supply from the 420 megawatt run off the river Naktigol hydroelectric power station under development across the Sanaga River. Minister Somba also asked the Director General of Nous to ensure that hydroelectric plants are functioning at their maximum capacities, while industries are also brought in to help reduce the recurrent power failure, especially in major urban centers where there is higher demand.
And now we talk health. Today is being observed as the International Day Against Epilepsy. Neurologists say the number of epilepsy patients keep increasing in various medical facilities in Cameroon, though official statistics from the Ministry of Public Health is not very clear. The neurologists blame the increase to the science of the local population, who consider epilepsy as a disease of bad luck or witchcraft. Lucy Liengu Asia spoke with a neurologist, Yerin Dwala.
Epilepsy, also known as a seizure disorder, remains a major health concern in Cameroon, though exact statistics from the Ministry of Health are unknown. The number of epilepsy patients administered at the Lakentini Hospital stands at 37%. Professor Kalisto Kouate-Tegu, head of the neurology department in Lakentini, says the disease affects children from 0 to 5 years and adults aged 60 years and above. The disease is caused by several factors.
We have obstetrical causes that are related to the pregnancy and to the delivery. We have a lot of people who have stroke. It can later on develop also epilepsy, that we call vascular epilepsy. We have people that can have meningitis, that can have, let's say, encephalitis, that have certain infectious disease like cysticercosis. These people may develop later epilepsy.
In the yesteryears and even today, many people think epilepsy is related to witchcraft, a belief Professor Kalist strongly condemns.
Epilepsy is not related to witchcraft. Epilepsy is a chronic disease. It's a disease that can be treated and can be cured.
Once an epilepsy patient suffers from seizure, there are do's and don'ts.
People used to put fingers, spoons on. You should not do that. Just put him in a lateral position to favor him. If there is a lot of saliva in the mouth, it will flow outside. And don't give anything to eat or to drink. Just keep him in this position. In 3 to 5 minutes, the seizure will stop.
On the occasion of the International Day of Epilepsy, neurologists call on the population to shun social shame and humiliation.
We are asking people to bring patients who are suffering from epilepsy to the hospital, and doctors are really well trained to take care of these patients.
The theme for this year's International Epilepsy Day is Milestones on My Epilepsy Journey.
Continues in the DRC as protesters have burned the US and Belgian flags and are now attacking different embassies. And in Senegal, following political upheaval rocking Senegal, the chair of ECOWAS, President Bola Tinubu, is in Senegal to have talks with Macky Sall on possible solutions. Our foreign page roundup with Mala Glory.
Police in the Democratic Republic of Congo fired tear gas on Monday, dispersing protesters who burned tires, the U.S. and Belgian flags near Western embassies and the United Nations office in the capital, Kinshasa. The protesters, developing a new tactic by targeting embassies, say the West support neighboring Rwanda is threatening the strategic city of Goma in the east. And over to Senegal, Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, the chair of the Economic Community of West African States, is meeting his Senegalese counterpart Macky Sall in the capital Dakar as a constitutional crisis continues in the country over the postponement of the elections initially scheduled for this month. Sall's decision to push back the February 25th presidential vote has plunged Senegal into one of its worst crises since independence from France in 1960. And elsewhere, days after Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger announced last month they were quitting the West African Political Union ECOWAS, Burkina Faso's military ruler Ibrahim Traoré was already naming his next target, the region's CFA franc currency. The three states decided to dump the franc CFA in order to be independent. The leaders of each country confirmed their desire to create their own currency. The head of the Niger junta, Abdurrahman Tiani, said in an interview on state television on Sunday that abandoning the CFA francs will be a sign of sovereignty and a necessary step in moving away from French colonization, a move seen as bold.
And that report by Mala Glory brings us to the end of the first part of the news. Thank you, viewers, for always being with us. Don't go away, Talking Point comes up next. Welcome back, viewers. We will be talking today on youth and some of the challenges they face on a daily basis, especially students nowadays who are caught between the devil and the dark blue sea. We talk about violence in the school milieu and also in discipline. And our guest tonight is an educationist, Mr. Ndumu Ruben. Mr. Ndumu, thank you so much for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point tonight. Just to let our viewers know that you have been a school principal and also a discipline master. Now, you have worked with pupils and students for a very long time. What have you noticed are some of the challenges they face?
Thank you, Madam. Happy to be here again after some period of break. I wish to say that in the educational domain, there are a lot of challenges based on the environment per se, especially in Douala here. One of the main structures we're having here is the structure of indiscipline that is rampant in many schools around the central town. Then apart from that, we equally have issues of some teachers who are not well trained, as I will put it, coming both from the private and the public sector. And apart from that, I equally want to believe that the new program that they're trying to inculcate is a little bit not taking procession the way it has to be. If you look, you will discover that in most of the subject panel, a lot of changes have been brought up in the area of the end of year exams, like the GCE. And when I say that, it's like some of the subjects are too abrupt in the change, which means that they may have not given adequate time for preparation both of the teachers and the student at large.
Now, that is pedagogically speaking. Let's now talk about youth and fallen moral standards. Now, what can account for the rise in the nonchalance and waywardness of youth nowadays? That is, according to you?
A pertinent question that even all stakeholders in education, we are finding that challenges we are struggling to find how we can cope with that challenges, because our students nowadays, right from secondary up to the university, we discover that there is lack of morals, and that is actually contributing in the falling standard of education. And one of my own observation is the fact that it's like parents have completely removed their hands in the manner in which they used to take care of their children. Because when I look at in the past, the way our own parents used to attach themselves to us when we were going to school, I realized today that like the nature of the job, the nature of the standard of living of parents have actually fallen in such a way that they no longer have time to follow their children's education. Following their children's education, what do I mean there? The parents do not actually take time to see whether if this child left the house today, was that child fully present in school? Within the end of the year, did that child succeed to make a pass? Some of the parents don't have time towards this. So this now has contributed in such a way that most students are in between the school and the home. So that now brings about the structure, which I still believe that morals start first from the home.
But Mr. Ndumu, there you are blaming parents, but there is this public opinion which has it that it is somehow a shared responsibility between the teachers, the parents, and even the state.
Yes, that's what I said. You see, education is a three-pillar structure. You have the parent, you have the child, and you have the school at large. These three people must work together. So if one is limping, then you don't expect full results. And what am I saying here? The school can do whatsoever they can do. But if at home the parents are not doing the follow-up, if government can provide everything and the parents are not following up, still there will be a problem. So what I want to say is that let the parents start with a good morale. Any good morale coming from home will give a good backing to any school, and that will equally help to accomplish the educational policy put by the state.
Christian, thank you so much for that clarification. Now, let's talk about youth and employment or unemployment. We heard the head of state encouraging youths during his speech that was on the eve of the 11th of February, encouraging youth to be self-employed. Now, how is that possible in this our very challenging environment?
the taste of time, because we run a 3-section school, that is general, commercial, and technical. And for your information, no, technical is one of that sector that most people believe that they are too stubborn. But in Atlanta here, we have actually gone through a lot of follow-up. The first step is that we go through counseling, guidance and counseling of the students. Every Mondays and Fridays, the students are assembled, and then we counsel them. Sometimes we invite even professionals in that area of counseling. They come and then they counsel the students in the assembly. Sometimes we move with those counselors from one class to another. That is just a way to bring them up to the level of moral standard. The fact that the student is very stubborn, indisciplined today doesn't make that child to be an outcast. We have to bring out methods which we can be able to, what we call the, I always use the word here that we panabit these students. Panabiting, you see, a car is never thrown. Most cars, when they get to a certain age, they panabit the vehicle. So I use that word panabiting here. How do we go through this? We have our rules and regulations, which are pasted in all the classroom. In front of me here is a booklet. These booklets have all the indications where a student go right or wrong, what kind of punishment is merited to the child. And then above that, we have made in such a way that when a student is to be punished, we call that student and counsel the student. Let the student know why he or she is punished. And we want to say that we are not, I'm going to talk about punishment here, it is not corporal punishment. These are just productive punishment.
Particularly on violence, we know that recently most students come to school with harmful objects. Some of them even use their compasses to harm their teachers and even also their students and even also their classmates. What has your institution been doing to ensure that you reduce to the barest minimum the instances of violence in your school or in your institution?
Of tomorrow, I call them the leaders of tomorrow, because we are gradually weighing out and we need prospective leaders. And the direction in which most of our youth are coming up, we are afraid that we continue in that direction, we may be having a failed state. But my advice to them is that they should not hurry in life. That's the first thing. They should move steadily, progressively, and focus. Then take their education more seriously. Because one other thing you need to understand is that knowledge is power. It is not the reverse. Any society that is not educated is bound to be a failed society. So they should understand that even we are going to leave them this country tomorrow and they are not better, well-brained children, they are going not to succeed. So I'm talking like somebody who has been in the field, passing through all the direction as a student, a teacher, a principal, a discipline master, and a proprietor today. I want to say that I have passed through all this chain, and I am advising that they should focus, discipline, and then respect is one other key factor. And when they do all this, they will have a better future, not only for their family, but for the society as a whole.
And now, before we go, Mr. Ndumo, thank you so much first for the piece of advice you just gave to the young people. We know that technical education or practical education is very beneficial to the youth nowadays. Can you expatiate that to us more as an educationist that you are?
Days that we used to name parts of insect and so on has long passed. And that is what has actually made Cameroon to be where we are today. If you go to most of these, I call them the developing, the second world countries, I mean those in the Middle East there, Thailand, China, and so on, you discover that the main thing that has actually brought that country into the upper development is self-employment. Students are trained on techniques, not on speaking English and so on. But what do I mean there? If you train a child, it's in the building construction. He already start by molding the blocks, by fabricating blocks. He knows that he can mix cement, sand, and so on. Certain quantities give the block. He can be able to lay the block and give a wall. So these students already, through the internship that they go and do outside, coupled with the practical they do in school, they are able to even take jobs and construct outside here. Even sometimes we will do our technical jobs here within school. During holidays, we invite some of them. They come, they work here, we pay them. That's really self-employment.
Thank you, Mr. Ndomu Ruben, for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point tonight. Viewers, thank you so much for being with us. Don't go away. Our programs continue. Equinoxe comes up at 7 p.m. today, and the news in the French language at 8 p.m. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye for now.